Okay. All right, guys. So we're gonna talk some more about different kinds of models and designs. But before y'all get started, I have a bell ringer activity I want y'all to do, and it's just about pushing and pulling. Can somebody show me what's a push? How would you do your hands if you was pushing something? Right. Okay. How would you do your hands if you was pulling something? Pull. Okay. So just think about that in mind. So on your bell ringer, it's just going to be some different pictures that's going to show you different examples of either pushing or pulling, and that has to do with forces, remember? Because y'all been talking about different balancing, having balanced and unbalanced forces. Y'all remember that? Okay, so I want y'all to put right beside it, you'll look at the picture and write push or pull, and then when you look on the back, there's two questions that they just want you to come up with. I just want you to come up with an example that you come up with in your own head of a push and then one of a pull, and do a little sketch. It doesn't have to be nothing fancy or anything. And I'm going to start my timer for 5 minutes. And I'm going to just give y'all a few minutes to start that, and we'll go ahead and get started right now. Go ahead and pass these out to y'all. Everybody have a pencil? Yes, okay. And write your name first and last at the very top of your paper for me, okay? There you go. There you go. Remember, there's a back side to it. Pick up your head. You don't have to. No, I don't necessarily care about the date. Yes, ma'am. I'll get you another one just a second. There you go. So do y'all's best. I just need y'all to do it on your own so I can just kind of see what y'all remember from all your previous lessons that y'all been doing about forces. What's your name? We should have our mouse at 0. Is it a push or is it a pull? Okay. And when you get done, just the front and the back, just put it at the end of your table in one spot. And I'll collect them at the end of class. I know. It looks kind of like he has a bag. And what do you think he's doing with that bag? You don't say it, just write it. What does that look like? Because what's the action? What are they doing?
Pushing it.
But look, what are they actually doing? No, you're right. Pushing the what? What is this? Yeah. Got it, and then just do the back. There's a short activity on the back. It's like what? Think about if you're at the grocery store, if you're at a store and you have a cart, just think about what you do with that cart. Yes. So just give me an example of something that might be a push. And you just come up with something that you think, and then do a little. You shouldn't be talking. You should be doing your front and your back because you only got a couple more minutes, and we're gonna move on. only gonna be one. Sometimes you might have both actually, both forces. Look at this. It looks like there's something on one of those big art things you see in a hardware store, and the man's doing something with it. Look at the action. Think about the action that he's when he does this, what that means. Did you get it? Even if we don't get finished, it's okay. We're gonna talk about it some more too. Just do your best, cause I just kind of want, this is kind of a review of what y'all been doing. Well, look at this picture. It's right up here. Right up here. Okay. All right. Everybody just take your paper, even if you're not finished, just go ahead and put them to the end of the table in one stack, okay? So we can go ahead and move on with the lesson. And so your lesson is going to be about a different kind of, not necessarily a different kind of force, but a different kind of sculpture and the way that this sculpture looks compared to some of the other sculptures that y'all have done previously. So I want, let's see here. Brooklyn, will you lead the, stand up and lead the objective? I want everybody to say it, but I want Brooklyn to lead it. Will you stand up and read it for me? Has everybody already passed their papers? I need everybody to go ahead and pass their papers. All right? It's okay. As long as you pass. You made it 10. Thank you. Okay? And everybody just needs to have your eyes on the board so you can, okay, we'll talk about it later, okay? All right. All right, thank you. Pick it up. All right, so Brooklyn, you ready? I want everybody's eyes to the front. Hocus pocus.
Everybody's focused.
All right, so eyes are on the board. We're going to talk about our objective, about what you're going to learn. Go ahead and lead it, Brooklyn. Y'all should, okay, can we start? Hold on, let's start again because we're all saying it together. She's leading it, but I want y'all to say it all together, right? Okay, go ahead, Brooklyn. We'll learn how a hanging sculpture can, whoops, sorry guys.
Keep red. Right.
Sorry. Go ahead, start again. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
The
Go
learner
ahead.
will learn how
It's symmetrical.
The learner will
Pulling of forces.
and balance points that were required for the sculpture to be ground.
Thank you. So I know that's a bunch of information right there. Thank you, Brooklyn. I really appreciate it. So, but I want you, after we just read that, let's kind of break it apart a little bit. That way, it makes the most sense to you. So, you know what if something's hanging? What do you see in the room that's an example of something hanging? Tell me, Brooklyn, what do you think? Those right there. The decorations they're hanging from the ceiling, right? Okay. So obviously, in this part of this lesson, you're going to be learning about hanging sculptures as opposed to, I know the last time I was in here, we did, what was the type of sculpture we did? Do y'all remember?
No.
They were balanced, but they were what? Can you tell me?
The balance point was in the middle.
It was not in the middle, so what do we call that? If it's not in the middle, it's not in the, what's another word for middle? In the center, so it was a what? Off-centered. That's right, very good. So these also have when we talk about the balance point of these particular types of sculptures, kind of look at these right here. Does it look like on these this word asymmetrical, does it look like these type of sculptures look like maybe the balance point is at the same place in every type of asymmetrical
Yes.
sculpture? Does it look like it's in the same place?
Yes.
Does this one look in the same place, or that look like? Not necessarily, because what do y'all remember about the word symmetrical? Because see, we have asymmetrical, but I know y'all have heard the term symmetrical, right? And what do y'all remember about that?
That it looks like when you draw a line, it looks the same on both sides.
That's right. That's right. So if I had an imaginary line down the middle of my face, on this half and this half should be just the same, right? So if it's asymmetrical, what do you think the difference would be? It would be, would they be the same? Do you think they're going to be the same on either half? They're going to be different. Yeah, so let's kind of look at some terms, because there's some of our vocabulary terms that'll come in handy, like the term asymmetrical, having two sides or halves that are not the same. So it's just the opposite of symmetrical. And I know y'all know what a balance force is. If it's balance, it does not what?
No.
What, or does not change, right? And we already talked about the different kinds of hanging and the sculptures, and then the importance of the balance point. So here's some other little images to just kind of show you. And it's kind of neat how they are not the same on either side of them, but they are still what? They're still what?
Balance.
They're still balanced, because they have, at their balance point, they're still able to be like not move, right? The motion doesn't change, right? Okay, so that's an important part of that. Okay, so in that, again, this is kind of I'll go back to this again in just a second. I'll show that to y'all, but I have a video I wanted y'all to kind of to watch, which is talk some more about forces and motion, and particularly about the push and pull forces. So pull this up for you. Give me just 1 second, y'all. All right.
This is Dave, head of marketing at a cattle company, about to use Grammarly to handle a tight deadline.
Forces and motion, push and pull. When an object moves from place to place, it's called motion. For this object to be put into motion, a force needs to be applied to it. Forces that move objects can be push or pull. Take this ball for example. Let's see the different types of forces applied. Pull is when you bring an object towards you, whereas push moves an object away from you. Let's look at some examples. These parents are using pull to move the girl closer to them. This man is moving the lawnmower away from him and using push. Let's play a game. I'm going to show you different examples of force, and you need to tell me whether it's push or pull. Do this with your hands if it's push, and this with your hands if it's pull. Are you ready?
Ready?
Yeah.
Which is it?
Push.
Okay, let's try the next one.
Push. Pull.
Right. And this is right. Okay, good.
Push.
Now what's this one?
Pull.
What do you think?
Push and pull.
See the difference? See the
Well
dads?
done.
Do y'all see the dads pushing?
And a mom pull.
That's
Can you
right.
think of any other things that you may push or pull?
Yeah.
What? Okay, so you can do what now? You can pull a rope. Okay, what's another one, Smosh?
I thought you said roach.
Listen, I can't hear it. Quiet. You can, because if you had like a flat tire, you're not gonna be able to ride it. You might have to pull it, right?
I'll push.
Okay. Well, you can put, and you could also push somebody. It just depends on what what you're doing or what motion or action you're doing. Okay. All right. End of it. All right. So.
It says play. It just says play.
Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. So when y'all were previously doing some of your other type of sculptures that had to do with like the things that are oddly balanced sculptures. So when you hear the word oddly, what does that ring a bell to you? Cherish. Well, just think about it. Like, you can even think about what you know about other types of subjects. Like, what do you know about things that are like maybe odd in math? They're what? Odd numbers, and they are what? If something is, it's what from an even number? It is. What is? Hold on one second. You want to help? You want to help her out? Go ahead and help her out. It's not the same. That could be one way to put it. Okay. It's different. That's exactly the word that I was looking for. It's different. So when you had those type of sculptures, just think, if you can think about like the different types of things that you discovered when you were making them and building them. What were some of the things that y'all maybe you could remember from when y'all did those type of sculptures? I'll treat. What do you remember about when you did the oddly balanced sculptures? Things that you discovered when you were building them. Because remember, the oddly balanced balanced sculptures were what? They were kind of different. They weren't. Okay, so what do you remember? Okay, you had to maybe use what, different weights, right? Or maybe different types of what? Different sizes of different objects. So there's different types of things that went into that, right? Okay. That's right. You could have done that too. So when you're doing the sculptures that we're talking about now, the hanging sculptures, like I said, that's a good example. If those were all one piece together, those flowers hanging from the ceiling, those, you could consider those to be hanging sculptures, because they're, what is, when they're hanging from the ceiling, what's another thing that is important that you think about when you're describing a hanging sculpture? Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's almost like it's floating in the air. It's almost like, it's there, but it's like suspended and you don't really know why, or it's kind of hard to explain. Okay, so when y'all get to the point where y'all are gonna be actually building, that'll be a little bit later, but y'all will get to use some different types of tools and stuff. Like there's different kinds of materials that y'all get to use when y'all are creating that type of sculpture. Like, what's the thing that you notice, like the material in this bag that you notice that looks like that? What's hanging from the ceiling, Cherish? Well, how is it hang? How is it? What's making it hang? What did you say? I can hear you. They're swinging, yeah, but what material? The string, and do y'all see that in here? There's string. That's how those objects, or you can refer to them as sculpture pieces, are hanging. So y'all get to learn more about that once you get further into your creating portion of your sculpture. So y'all remember when y'all were reading y'all's book about the different the different artists, and what do y'all notice about that
That
picture?
they're hanging rocks.
Yes, yes.
That sea hanging recycled trash.
Well, look at, I know it's kind of hard to see, and, but if you look right here, is there different kinds of things that different size objects are suspended from or hanging from? What does that probably look like? What do y'all notice about that? Yes.
Different patterns,
Yeah, there's different patterns, and then probably what else?
different shapes,
And
sizes.
that's right, but does this look like it's maybe a different kind of material than using the string? Does that look like it's probably hanging from a different type of material? Cherish, what do you think?
Look like
Can you tell what it looks like right here? Maybe some kind of metal what? Metal, metal wire or something that's thin that you, yeah, that you would be able to bend, and you notice all the different shapes.
flexible.
Yeah, it's all kinds of different things, and it's also, besides the fact that it's floating, what's another, like visually when you look at it, what's another detail that you notice about it? Cheers. Huh? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you see the different objects that's in that sculpture? Well, it could be, but as far as like the appearance of it, what do you notice? Does anybody else want to try? Different colors. It's very colorful. They're not all the same color. And doesn't that kind of catch your eye a little bit, I think? And so, another thing that this particular artist used is in her different kinds of sculptures, she uses different sizes and different objects of different weights, and it looks like to me, even though they're different sizes, do you think they're probably weigh very much? Do y'all think that they're very heavy? No, probably not if they can look like they're kind of floating and they're all kind of just suspended in different places. It kind of looks like it's probably made out of some kind of lightweight material, don't you think?
Yeah.
I would think so too. Okay. All right. So this is I just wanted to kind of see things that y'all have remembered so far as y'all went through your lessons. And been talking about also the push and the pull of those different forces. That's going to help you to be able to better understand how these different sculptures are balanced and how you would be able to create them successfully. So let's look at the first question. Blank is when you are using a force to move an object towards you. Is that a push or a pull? Put a thumbs up for a push or a thumbs down for a pull. What do y'all think? If you move it towards you, what is it? Okay. Is it a push or a pull? Y'all think push?
A pull.
If you're moving it towards you.
No, it's a pull.
If I'm doing this, remember what we did in the think again. I just want you to think again. Remember that video we watched, and they were doing the motions like this, and then doing like this. So what is that? Something's coming toward. Okay, so is it going to be a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Okay, we all agree it's a pull? Okay, so we know then if we're moving it towards you, that it's a pull, that if we move it away from us, that's a push, right? So that's a thumbs up. Okay, so I'm going to say some of these different examples, and I just want you to give me your thumbs up for push or your thumb down for pull, okay? So, shopping cart, are you going to push or pull that?
Push.
Push it. So it's going to be okay. What about a wagon? Push, okay, all right. What about a soccer ball?
Kick.
Well, you kick it, or is that going towards you or away from you?
Both.
Okay. Remember, if it's away from you, it's a what? It's a push. Okay. All right. So what about a skateboard?
Away. Both.
Well, you probably could. You probably could. Well, I don't know if you would really pull yourself because it doesn't go really towards you. I would say push. How many of y'all say push?
Me.
Okay. All right. What about a kite? What is a towards you or away from you?
Away.
So it's gonna be what?
Push.
Away from you. Remember,
Push.
because if I'm gonna
A pull.
pull, so you're right, you're push. Okay. All right, a dog on a leash.
Pull.
What about a baby stroller? Because you're gonna do what? What are you doing? Okay. And so if you're doing that, it's going what? Is it going
Forward.
Okay.
It's coming
all
back
right.
to you, but
What about
forward.
the last one? How about hammering a nail on a wall?
Both.
Or am I doing like this? Am I doing it?
Both.
I'm doing it like this, right? So is it away from me or towards me?
Both.
Yeah.
Because you're practically pulling it.
Well, if you were pulling, that's a good point though. If you were pulling it out, yeah. So I can see that part. Okay, that's very good.
It's
Okay.
pulling it.
So I'm gonna pass out a sheet for y'all, and it's going to be about y'all going ahead and using the information we talked about building a asymmetrical, balanced hanging sculpture. So you're not building one yet. We're just gonna kind of see what kind of ideas maybe you could come up with in your table groups, and just do a little sketch. And I'll give y'all a few minutes to do that together. Okay? That's right. Okay. So what you're gonna do is just think about what we talked about. What are some of the key things that y'all remember us talking about something that's asymmetrical? Is it the same on both sides? On each house? It's what?
It's the same.
It's different on either half. Either half is not necessarily going to be identical or the same, right? Okay, but is it going to be balanced? What did we talk? Yes, we said it was still going to be balanced, but what about the balance point? What do y'all think about that?
It's not going to be in the middle. It's not going to be in the
Maybe not necessarily. It's not always going to be in the same place or directly in the center. So I'm just going to give y'all a couple minutes. I just want y'all to start coming up with some ideas. And y'all work together. Work together. Come on.
I know.
Remember to write y'all's name.
So what we put over?
Okay. You're going to sketch some ideas of what you might think about as far as what you would want to use, or how you would want to design a asymmetrical balance. It's something that's hanging, like a hanging asymmetrical sculpture.
So it got to be same. People are staring.
No, I remember asymmetrical is not the same on both sides. Yes, the asymmetrical. Pick your head up. Pick your head up. Okay, y'all work together. I'm gonna give y'all this a few minutes. Pick your head up.
Like this?
Pick your head up. Read that. Good example. Going with some samples, let you know. I'm gonna go ahead and set a timer so we have enough time to get through everything.
What is?
Well, just think about, I just kind of want to see some of the ideas that y'all can come up with. Remember what was the thing that we talked about at hanging? Think about that. The different materials that you could possibly use, or the different, think about the different sample pictures that we looked at. Now go back, I'm going to go back to this picture. I want y'all to look at this.
Can you read it?
Look at some of the examples. It doesn't necessarily have to look like this, but these are examples of asymmetrical but balanced.
Can you please
Okay.
read it? Read what?
So you're going to sketch what you think your hanging sculpture would look like in that space. That means just draw a picture of an idea that you might have about a sculpture creation. Now I'll leave that one up there. That's a good example too, because they did say hanging, so you've got to make sure you have those elements in there. So work together. Now let's come on this page. Okay. So this is just like the beginning portion. This is like nothing. This is the design process, remember? So does this mean that this is set in stone the way you have to create?
Yeah.
No. Does it? No. Do you think that maybe once you get your materials and start working with them, that you can make some changes. Yeah, when you start doing some investigating and kind of looking at the different concrete materials that you have, that you could make some different changes to how you might want your sculpture to look. But remember, for it to be the successful a sculpture that's balanced, it obviously has to balance, right? And if it balances, is it gonna fall over? No, it won't fall over. But can it be different shapes and different colors, different objects, different sizes? Yes, of course. So just think about those different things. And you can think about any kind of objects. I mean, I know I kind of just briefly showed that to you, but there's all kinds of different little materials that we have in this bag, right? Yeah, that could be it, but remember what we said. It's not always this for the asymmetrical. What you got to have your balance point, remember, and you have to have, like, it's not necessarily the same on either side, right? It can have, like this one, there's all kinds of stuff everywhere. It's asymmetrical because, what do you think that is asymmetrical? This one's considered not the same on either side. Because if you look at this side and look at this side, does it look like everything is identical on this side as it is on this side? It's different, right? So that's, even though there's all these different things going on, just
Big old block.
I like yours though. You don't like it? I'll give you another one, but that one, that's a good way to think about it, the way you were designing yours. Be sure that you write your name on your papers, okay? This is just your first kind of go at it, okay? It's just the rough design of it, everything.
What is that? It's like a sketch of what.
It's just a sketch. That's what we're doing in the designing process. You're just
I know.
drawing. Ooh, I like that.
A leaf.
And remember, it can be different materials, different shapes, and all kinds of different things like that. But I thought that was a really, okay. So just leave that right there. Make sure your name is on your paper. Just leave it at your table. I want you to leave it there with your name on it. And I just wanted y'all to answer. I'm going to give y'all a sticky note, and I just want y'all to answer a question for me. And once you get your sticky note, just put it on top of your design paper. Be sure that you write your name on it too. And so what you're going to do is give me 3 examples here. We talked about some forces, okay, up there, and I want you to give me 3 examples that you can remember that we talked about that you would need to have if you were creating an asymmetrical hanging balanced sculpture. So think about the type of sculpture that we just talked about and what y'all were trying to design. And which of those things do you 3 examples do you remember talking about? Yes, write your name. Let's see. Pick 3 examples of forces. So look up at, there's a visual up here just to kind of remind you of some of the different examples of the different forces. Okay, write your stuff down. Okay. Write your name. Yeah, there could be another one. Just think about, like, some of the examples that we were talking about. Like, if something, which I don't know, there's one. Give me at least 2. If y'all can give me at least 2, then that would be good. But if you can think of the third one. The 3 examples of the forces that we talked about that are required for those kind of the asymmetrical sculptures. Okay, well, give me 2. Well, give me at least those 2. Write your name. Those are the examples of the forces I talked about, right? Did we talk about those types of forces when we were talking about the asymmetrical sculpture? Okay. I just want you to the example I gave you up there and think about what we talked about, the different types of forces that are necessary for you to have when you are creating your asymmetrical. Okay, well, write it down. Write your name and write it. If you can give me at least 2, then that would be good. Write it, if you can come up with at least 2. Pick your head up, buddy. You're supposed to be writing this last part because we just have a couple more minutes, okay? Write your name. Almost done. Okay. Just write well, first you gotta write your name, Keith.
So we're drawing a picture?
No, you're naming 2, at least 2. I have 3 up there, but at least give me 2 examples of the types of forces that we talked about. Think about the video we were watching. What was the video about that we were watching that when we were talking about the asymmetrical hanging sculptures? Think about those forces that, go ahead.
So drawing a picture.
Look and use what I gave you too to kind of remind you. Remember the video that we watched? Do you remember what we were talking about and all the different little other things that we just discussed about the different forces? What did we talk about when you were doing what? Look at this. Okay. I want you to write it down. Write it down. Okay? And be sure your name is on y'all's sticky note. Make sure y'all's name is on your sticky note. Yes, those are the examples of the forces. I don't want you to tell me, you don't have to necessarily give me a description of a sculpture, a hanging sculpture. I just want you to use what we talked about with the forces themselves. We just talked about it. Okay. All right. So everybody go ahead and put the sticky notes on your paper and then pass them to the front. I really appreciate y'all listening and paying attention. Y'all did a good job. Yes, put them right there. Thank y'all.